Good morning, everybody. Grand Rising, everyone. Sorry about that. Grand Rising, everyone. I hope all is well on this wonderful Sunday rising on today. And I give thanks for my Father Elohim, Yahweh Adonai. And both me and my Abba have a message, okay? And it's a message about love. It's a love message because that's what we do. Me and my Creator does is give out messages of love and not curses, okay? And so, okay, so I was reading. My Abba brought me to the Book of Hosea. Hosea means salvation. Okay, and this is a message after the wonderful Sabbath. Oh yes, I hope that everyone had a wonderful Sabbath on yesterday and a wonderful pre-Sabbath on Friday as well. So I'm just gonna get into what I would like to speak about today, and that is basically about what it talks about in the book of Hosea, and it basically speaks about whoredom, harlots, whoredom, prostitution, and Adonai's Yahuwah's judgment on these types of individuals. And so, and also it speaks about the love and grace that, Abba gives to us. Amen, praise God. And so, maybe in the past, someone was, someone was, judged. Someone was judged for the same reason, and that would be, like harlot, acting like a harlot. You know what I mean? We want to respect ourselves. We don't want to act like, harlots and craziness and whatnot and carrying on and everything like that. We want to, excuse me, just give me 1 second. Okay, we want to live righteous, as I always say. We want to live righteous, and we want to do right. We don't want to, sin and be like harlots. We want to be like, wife material, you know what I mean? And whoredom and prostitution and, being a harlot is a sin, and it's really, really bad. You know what I mean? It's really, really bad. And so, we can get judged for that type of thing from God, okay? And the other day, I seen this video on YouTube. It was with, some black women and a white woman, and it was like, they had like some men with them, and there was like, this white woman, this Edomite woman, she had like no bra on, just stars on her breast, and and a thong and everything like that. And the others, they had on like G-string thongs and like like small little bralettes and stuff like that, like bathing suit and stuff like that. and like what strippers wear and how strippers, you know, are and everything like that. And in this video also as well, they was fighting and acting chaotic and everything like that, just disgusting behavior. And so that's how we don't want to act. We don't want to act like, have that type of lifestyle, you know what I mean? So, you know, and when God's judgment, when Adonai's judgment comes upon us, it's not like it's real. It gets real. You know what I mean? I'm sorry if my screen is like dark. It's a little dark today. Maybe because of, you know, outside. So, you know, excuse, you know, how the video looks. But yeah, we want to, you know, be like wife material. We want to have our, you know, clothes on and stuff like that. And we don't want to, you know, do adultery, whoredom. There's whoredom, you know, harlot, adultery, and prostitution. It's all a sin and it's all bad. And so what we want to do is we want to carry ourselves and respect ourselves. Even if a man says, oh, you know, I want, you know, I don't like, you know, you being covered up. I like how you know, dress this way, you know what I mean, and whatever and whatnot. And even if they say that, you know what I mean, don't really listen to that individual, because 9 times out of 10, they're not following God anyway. They're not a man of God. They're not a man of Adonai. They're not a man of Elohim. And so you want to ignore these people, and you want to say, you know, you want to tell those type of men no. And you know what I mean? And you want to listen to Abba. You want to follow Elohim, as I always say. You know what I mean? And you want to respect yourself, because men don't really respect harlots. You know what I mean? I mean, they may seem like they like it, but they won't respect you. They're not going to respect you. And so what you want to do is you want to respect yourself for yourself, and you want to respect yourself in the eyes of Elohim. You know what I mean? And so if he wanted to, he will judge you for it as well. And, you know, it's not good. So, you know, give yourself some grace and change your lifestyle and change your ways. You know what I mean? And we all have to do this. We all have to change our lifestyle and change our ways at some point in time, you know. And it's a good thing, because after that, you know, you could be better about yourself. You could feel better about yourself. You know what I mean? You can walk with your head up high instead of you know, having to look down on yourself. I mean, you know, you may not realize that you are treating yourself as such, but you are treating yourself as such. You know what I mean? And so why don't you just respect yourself? We need to respect ourselves. We have to respect ourselves. Because in the video, what I saw, it was ridiculous. It was very, it was not normal, and it was ridiculous. I mean, how these women acted as such, and then on top of that, how they was dressed. It was crazy. And then the men was there, and they didn't tell them anything about themselves, because a man is not going to tell you nothing about yourself. You have to tell your own self about your own self. Okay? And the only man that will tell you about yourself is Elohim. Elohim is the only one that will tell you about yourself. And so let's be proud. Let's make Elohim proud. Let's make ourselves proud and live a good lifestyle and present ourselves, make ourselves presentable. You know what I mean? Stop being outside stop twerking, and get work. You know what I mean? Get work, do stuff that's positive instead of negativity, being outside twerking, fighting, you know what I mean? And shooting and a whole bunch of garbage and a whole bunch of nonsense, just taking a whole bunch of drugs and crack and stuff like that, and just sitting on your behind trying to bother somebody else and whatever and whatnot. And you can take the time out to do positive things instead of negative things, and instead of having disgusting behaviors about yourself, because it says a lot about yourself when you act disgustingly. It says a lot about yourself. You have no home training, okay? You have no home training, and this brings me back to exactly back to this video that I was watching. I'm always watching the video. This brings me back to the video. There was a little boy, right? And they said that this video was going viral. Okay? And so what happened was this little boy was in class disrespecting his teacher and being disrespectful and being a class clown and whatever and whatnot. And his mother had to come to his school and when she came to his school, she had to, whoop his behind. And she had to teach him and tell him to not be disgusting, not have this disgusting behavior in school. And what I was saying was, this brings, I'm not sure if she, if she listens to, rap music or anything like that, and like the rap music that has to do with these days and times, like Young Miami, that speaks about, scammers and spending money, and it's the right thing to do and whatever and whatnot. I'm not sure if, she listens to that type of, that type of stuff at home, but it does all start at home. And I was watching another video of these individuals, these white individuals. He was in South Carolina, they was in South Carolina, and they was, just meeting, individuals and, asking them about, the lifestyle in the South, in South Carolina. And the elders was saying the same thing that I said, pertaining to, that came from, when I was listening to the elders, because in the church, because they also visited ones that was in the church and everything like that, just speaking to them, about the lifestyle that's in the South as well. And, the elders, they was like, this generation and these days and times is different. We grew up, with home training. We grew up with the Temptations, listening to the Temptations, stuff like that. But here, but now it's just different with the new generations and everything like that, and they have no respect. And I was thinking, it made me go back to the video where the little boy's mother had to go to the school. She had to go to the school and discipline him. And that starts from home. It starts from home. Now, granted, I'm not saying that, a lot of people don't know how to, discipline their, some people, parents, they don't believe in disciplining their child. You know what I mean? A man had asked a woman, did she believe in that? And she said no, she does not believe in disciplining her child. And this is why you have, ones acting crazy as children, and then growing up, they act just the same, and then they get into their old age and they act even more disgusting and hold disgusting behaviors. And so we need to change ourselves. We have to set an example for ourselves. We have to set an example for our children. We have to hold ourselves up high, and we have to be proud, you know what I mean, of the way we carry ourselves. We have to step away from whoredom, harlot, prostitution, adultery. You know what I mean? Because it's really not liked by, Elohim. You can definitely get judgment for that, like it has in the book of Hosea. And so we need to change that lifestyle as well. We need to get clean all the way around, with Abba. And Abba is our salvation. You know what I mean? So we need to be with our salvation. We need to have our salvation, be with Abba and in peace, and live righteously. You know what I mean? Yes. Maybe, start going to church on Sundays. You know what I mean? Start going to church on Sundays. Or start following the Sabbath and instead of being a harlot. Because righteousness is key. Tov. And that's the message. That is the message for today. Prostitution. The message is prostitution for today. And it shouldn't be. You know what I mean? It's wrong. The message for today, it has everything to do with prostitution, and it is wrong. It's not right. It's not correct. It is incorrect. You could change your life. You could change your lifestyle. Stop doing it for men, you know what I mean? And change that lifestyle. Many women, they want to impress men. That's the reason why they do it. They do this because they want to impress men. What are you trying to impress these men for? They don't impress you. They don't try to impress you, so why are you trying to impress them? There's a whole lot of things that I could spew out about men, but I won't. But why are you trying to impress men? We need to stop trying to impress these men, and we need to stop being chaotic, and we need to get it together. Stop just showing your bra and your thong everywhere in public and everywhere. You know what I mean? There's even, YouTube creators, some YouTube creators before I've seen, I don't see them anymore because I don't watch none of them. But they would have their bra in the camera. You know what I mean? I watch videos. I see like this woman with a short skirt. She's performing her song on stage, and she has on a short skirt, and she's jumping around. You know what I mean? With her song, performing her song, and her butt cheeks is coming out, and you have to pull her skirt back down. Then there's this other video I seen with this guy. You know what I mean? He's a comedian. He's funny. It's a little person. I don't know. I think he's considered as a little person, but I'm just gonna say a little person anyway. And it was this guy, this man on the ground, and this woman bending over, looking over a counter at a food place, and her butt cheeks is out. I'm like, listen, we have to get it together. We have to get it together. Like, I'm like, what is this? That's what I see. So we have to get it together. We have to, because it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. It's insane. Insane. Why is our butt cheeks out and our boobs out? But I don't understand. And then on top of that, we try to impress men who don't even, a lot of, I'm not saying that, every man don't take care of themselves, but they don't even, some of them don't even probably take care of themselves. They go outside, it's like thugs, they will go outside without even showering first or brushing their teeth first. And then you being disgusting with your butt cheeks all out and bending over and then shaking your behind and twerking instead of getting work. You know what I mean? And learning something new, learning, difficult, kind of difficult, challenging things, but not too difficult, but learning, difficult, challenging things and trying to go out there and, get work and stuff like that, go to job interviews, you know what I mean? Read your Bible, you know what I mean? When you go Sundays to church, you know what I mean? If you're into that type of thing, or, follow the Sabbath, start following, the Sabbath, and things like that. Not twerking and prostitution and being outside. Bending over, shaking your behind, and whining and carrying on. Men bringing you back home after the party. A whole bunch of things like this, of course, goes down. Oh, everybody knows. You know what I mean? And so, harlot is not it. Being a harlot is not it. And that was, as I said before, that was the message, for today. Our children is watching us. They see these things. So it's also not good for them. There's this little girl, Little Israel, on YouTube. She has this song, Pray 3 times a day. And it's very, very good. It starts from home. Home training starts from home. Even if your child doesn't pray, 3 times a day, it still starts from home. You will see that they have home training. It starts from home, and it starts with you. And so that was, like I said for the 3rd time, that was the message for today. So let's just stop with the whole prostitution. Because it's not good. It's disgusting behavior. Okay? And so that was all for today. I'm sorry that my, the lighting and everything in here today is like a little off, but you can still see me, so that is a good thing. And so thank you for your time, and please do have a wonderful rest of your day. And afternoon, the rest of your day, afternoon, and your evening. And I will be back with another message with my Abba, my Creator, Yahuwah, Elohim. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bless you. Toda. Give thanks.